Imagine this for a moment. What if one day someone told you that young children, especially those under the age of 6, are able to learn by themselves with very little direct teaching from adults? The question is, would you believe it? As a teacher myself, before I truly understood Montessori, I didn't believe it either. But now I'm genuinely amazed by it. This idea that children can learn by themselves was not just unusual at that time. It went completely against the common sense of society in that era, because back then people believed that children could only learn if adults constantly taught them, directed them, and controlled how they learned. Montessori began with the question of a physician, a doctor who observed children closely and seriously and asked herself, how much can a child learn on their own if adults do not interfere with the child's natural process of development? That physician was Maria Montessori. She was born in 1870 in Italy at a time when women had very little freedom to choose their own paths in life. Back then, if you were a woman, what were you expected to become? A teacher or a housewife? But Maria Montessori wanted neither. She wanted to become a doctor. At that time, medical schools did not accept women. Instead of accepting this limitation, Maria chose a different path. She studied physics, science, and mathematics to prepare herself for medical school. Then she personally went to see the university director again and again. Eventually, she was admitted to medical school and later became one of the first female physicians in Italy. However, being admitted did not mean she was accepted. In medical school, Maria Montessori continued to face clear gender discrimination. Her male classmates refused to allow her to participate in these sections. In the end, she studied anatomy alone at night. These experiences may have played a role in shaping her path, not toward authority or control, but toward an approach to education and work that emphasized quiet observation, listening, and deep respect for the individual needs of each child. These qualities became the foundation of an educational approach the world would come to know as Montessori. After completing her medical training, Maria Montessori worked with a group of children who at that time were described as intellectually deficient or as having developmental limitations and were unable to learn within the mainstream education system. Today, these children might be described as children with special educational needs. Instead of asking, what do these children lack? Maria asked a different question. What if adults simply do not yet know how to help them learn? She began developing learning materials that stimulated the senses and applied the scientific method rigorously through observation, forming hypotheses, experimenting with real children, and refining her approach again and again. The results shocked the society. Children who were believed to be incapable of learning learned to read and write and passed examinations to enter mainstream schools. And this led Maria Montessori to one of the most important questions of her life. If these children can do this, what about other children? Children considered typical, how far could they go if we change the way we see them? In 1907, Maria Montessori was invited to care for young typical children living in poor workers' housing in a slum area of Rome. She opened a small school, the very beginning of this educational approach, called Casa de Bambini, which means children's house in Italian. There was no accelerated curriculum, no forced lessons, no rewards or punishments. Instead, there was a carefully prepared environment, like a large home where children learned, cared for the space together, and shared responsibility for their environment. Within this house, adults observed and gently guided, allowing children to learn by themselves. What happened next was beyond anyone's expectations. Children showed deep concentration, worked with purpose, cared for themselves, and learned for their environment as if driven from within. Maria Montessori called this autoeducazione, or self-directed learning, and this is where the core principle was born. Help me to do it myself. The Montessori approach spread rapidly across countries and continents. Even during World War II, when the world was dominated by control and authority, this approach did not align with totalitarian ideologies such as fascism or Nazism. Maria Montessori was forced to seek refuge in India, where she trained teachers. This period played a crucial role in helping Montessori education take root in many parts of the world. Montessori had endured not because it is the most advanced teaching technique, but because it rests on a simple truth about the nature of children. Every child wants to learn. If learning does not become something that feels forced or unnecessarily difficult for them. In the next episode, we will explore how Montessori views children differently from conventional education systems and how that difference can truly transform a child's life.